Okay. So make a motion to accept the meeting of Scituate Board of Health Thursday, September 23rd, 2021 at 6 p.m.
Second.
Kelly,
I'll
how do
call
you
the
vote?
roll.
Oh,
So I'm going to call the roll so that we get a
Okay.
roll call vote. Motion to accept was made and seconded. Karen Conley, how do you vote? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes to accept, no to not, yes. Kelly, yes to accept, no, not.
Yes.
Chairman White, yes to accept, no, not.
yes.
Okay,
Okay, also, just to clarify, that this meeting is for the board members and council only. Everyone else, it is not a speaking meeting for public speaking or comments. Make a motion to accept. Karen, how do you vote?
Yes.
Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, so scheduled items. First one is open meeting law complaint response.
so we did get a complaint of the open meeting law, and I did send out a copy of that complaint to all of the board members, and I'm assuming you all received it. Can I get some verbal verification? Yes.
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 So I'm not really sure how we should respond to this. There are certain things that we have to do within a certain time frame. I did have Cindy Amora from Town Council come on just to help us through the steps of this. And I know that we had to respond to the complaint or take action within 7 days of the notification of it, or 14 days of the notification. Within 14 days of the notification. That's why we have called this meeting here. It's my proposal that, we ask town council to respond to the complaint. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm really not sure how to, and I'm looking for some guidance. So I'd like to have someone make a motion that we have town council respond to it. And if the board members have any questions or comments, or we'll see what they have to say. Or if Cindy has anything she'd like to say first.
Yes, I just want to give you a brief summary of why we're here and what's expected of you at this time. We've received a complaint, and it appears that the complaint was received in the town clerk's office on September 16th. Pursuant to the open meeting law, that triggers certain requirements that you have to comply with. The first is that the copies have to be distributed to the Board of Health for your review, and my understanding is that has been done. You're here tonight because within 14 business days of receiving the complaint, you have to meet, you have to go over the allegations and take remedial action if appropriate, and notify the complainant of the remedial action and forward a copy of the complaint and what you're going to do to the complainant and the Attorney General's office. You also, at this time, so you don't have to do this all on your own, you can delegate the responsibility for responding to the complaint to town council, which would be me, or to another individual if you want to. But in order to do that, you have to have this meeting and you have to vote to delegate the responsibility of responding on your behalf to town council or a different individual. We can also ask for additional time to respond. We can also ask the complainant for more information. At this point, if you wish to vote to determine whether you want to delegate the responsibility to me or another individual, that would be appropriate. I also think either before or after, we should go over what we see are the main allegations of the complaint. And so I have a sense of what I think I'm responding to, if that's what you authorize me to do. And if you don't authorize me to respond, so we at least have a sense of what whoever is going to respond thinks they're responding to.
Okay. So we have to first make a motion to allow town council to about the open meeting law complaint response, or is that been
The
handled?
order doesn't matter. We can talk about the complaint first, or you can move to delegate the responsibility of responding to the complaint to me first. It does, the order of that does not matter.
Okay. Board, what do you want to?
I think it might make sense to review it first.
Okay. Kelly?
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Would you like me to give you a brief outline of what I think the issues are in this complaint?
Yes.
Yes.
The first item about this complaint that I have is it was received by the town clerk on September 16th. The complaint had to be made within 30 days of the alleged violation. If you look at the date on the complaint, the way it's written, it's unclear to me what date this was filed. If it was filed on September 14th, it would be more than 30 days from the violations alleged that occurred on August 9th. If it was supposed to be, if it is in reality September 4th, those would be okay. However, the complaint also talks about alleged violations from a March 22nd meeting. And regardless of the substance of those complaints, they would be barred because it's much longer than 30 days, regardless of what the date is. So the first question I have is, when was this actually filed and whether it was timely? The second issues I have are exactly what are the open meeting law violation complaints. As I see it, the first thing they say is that on March 22nd, they claim to have been adversely impacted by the industrial wind turbine and to request an investigation. And they say it's unknown whether any information is actually forwarded or received by the board members. To me, that's a question they can ask in a meeting. They can get on your agenda and ask, but I do not see that as any type of open meeting law violation. They next talk about on the March 22nd meeting, and anything in March, I believe, is untimely anyway. They asked if they say that Chairman White, right, you're the chair? Sorry. Stated that you would speak with everyone about the request, and they claim that that's a violation of the open meeting law for him to discuss anything with members outside of the meeting. That's not a true statement, number one. Number two, it is unclear from what they've said what speak with everyone means, if it's even with other board members, with other town officials, with other members of the public. So it's unclear to me how that could have possibly been a violation, even if it was timely. And as long as there was no deliberation outside of a meeting, communications would not be a violation. They go on to talk about August 9th, that the IWT was again on the agenda, and that you listened to neighbors' concerns, and that Chairman White read a prepared statement that had been prepared for a previous meeting. That's completely acceptable. Oftentimes you have staff members put together position papers or summarize things so that the board can have a cohesive conversation about what's going on and supply the board with a document. The fact that you read the document into the record at the public hearing makes it a part of the record of the public hearing and something you could then talk about, rely upon, and in my opinion was exactly what you should have done. The fact that you did not prepare this statement, which apparently was not at all hidden from anyone, is in no way a violation of the open meeting law. So I don't see that there's a violation on this. The fact that you made a motion to place the information on the file, that to me is what a government official should do when they are reading something either presented from an abutter who has filed it with the office, and you have the health agent read it in, whoever reads it in, or if someone at the hearing reads something in, to make it a part of the file is exactly what you should do so that it is available should anyone want to see it. So I do not see a violation there. If there was a motion made, which it's unclear to me whether there was, a motion on a remote meeting should be done by roll call vote. There is an allegation that this was not done. It's unclear what they're talking about, what vote, and whether it was roll call or not. You all are well aware at this point that any remote meeting has to be, any motion made at a remote meeting has to be done by roll call vote, and will in fact, and has in fact since that time been done that way, as far as I know. And going forward, any remote meeting will contain only roll call votes, including things as routine and simple as a motion to adjourn. In terms of the last paragraph, because I don't really know what else to call it, the neighbors questioned what this meant, and the director explained, not the chairman who read the letter, that testing protocols recommended by the business were being investigated. I don't really understand what the alleged complaint is, let alone what the alleged violation is. From that paragraph, if any of you can shed any light on that, that would be great. But to me, the wind turbine being under discussion when it was listed on a meeting is perfectly acceptable. So I'm not quite sure what the violation is that's being alleged. And if it was to put the complaints on file, that was what you would do is, okay, we're recording these, we're putting them on file, so we have them. You're not shoving them under the rug, you're not ignoring them, you're doing what you do once you look at an issue raised to the board. You put it in the file and you go from there. So I'm not sure I see a big violation at all, and I'm not even clear whether anything alleged is timely. They go on to say that on October 31st, they sent an email for a request for reconsideration for a motion. And I'm not quite sure what that means or why that is listed here. And they say that in March, which again is a long time ago, you stated that you would discuss with the Board of Health outside of a meeting. I don't know what that means. I don't know how that is necessarily a violation. If you were, what you cannot do is deliberate or vote on anything outside of a public meeting. But does that mean that you can't ask a person, do you have a copy of this? Does that mean you can't go to the town administrator and say, are you aware we've received, there's all sorts of legitimate comments and conversations that can be had. The open meeting law prevents you from deliberating on the topic other than in a public meeting. And I don't get any sense from this complaint that it was done. There's an allegation that the board members were unaware of the letter, or it was discussed outside of the open meeting law. That, to me, I see no basis for that conclusion. I mean, if the board members didn't know anything about it, that's because it wasn't yet read or discussed, and so they didn't become aware until it was read and discussed in an open meeting. So I'm not quite sure what they think was the problem, even if it was timely. And again, roll call votes, we know we have to do, and we know we will be doing going forward. In a nutshell, that's how I view this complaint and what I see in it. Do any of you see anything different or have any other comments?
No, I think I'm pretty clear with what it says and how it was.
And I think your interpretation was really helpful, so I appreciate that detailed review.
I agree. Thank you.
So now the board either can discuss what, if anything, they think they need to do going forward to prevent anything from happening in the future, if they think there is anything that they need to change. And they also can vote to delegate the responsibility for filing this response with town council or another individual. Those are the two things I see that are left on the table right now regarding this complaint.
Well, I think I'll make a motion and see if everyone agrees to have you as town council respond to the complaint.
I second.
I third. So we'll do a roll call. So Karen, how do you vote?
Yes.
Kelly
Yes.
and Doug, yes. To have town council reply.
Okay? That I will do.
All right. And then do we have, what was the other thing that we, or does that handle the scheduled item and now go to old business, Drew?
Yes,
Okay.
correct?
All right, so old business, reconsideration of the motion from the August 9th meeting, 2021 meeting, a motion to place the wind turbine complaints on file.
So what we are looking to do is to have a board member make a motion to reconsider the August 9th, 2021 meeting of placing the wind turbine complaints on file, and a yes vote on that reconsideration would open it up again, and we would go forward from there, and a no vote would close it, and it's a vote that should be taken by roll call vote. Is that correct, Cindy?
Yes.
Okay, so we have to first do the motion and then do the roll call vote.
Correct.
Does Kelly or Karen want to?
Then the motion is to reconsider the August 9th, 2021 meeting, and it's the motion to place the wind turbine complaints on file.
Okay, so I'll do a roll call. Karen, how do you vote?
No, someone has to make the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Say is I so move,
Okay,
if you don't want to repeat the whole thing.
I so move.
okay. And then I do a roll call vote.
You need a second.
Oh, second.
Second.
And then a roll call. Okay. Karen, how do you vote?
No.
Kelly, how do you vote?
No.
And Doug White votes no. So it's 3-0. And then that would be it, Drew?
Yes, that's it with that.
Cindy, all right. So now the next thing we have is director's report.
And the director's report will be short. I do want to just talk about COVID, as we have been doing it so much lately. The 14-day state average of positive tests is 2.24. The 7-day is 2.11. And the Scituate 14-day, which came out tonight, was 1.69. So we're below the state. So that is good. We, as Kelly knows, because she gets these reports all the time, every day anyway, you know, our cases have not been exploding in the town. They've been pretty, you know, we had 1 week that was 29. Other than that, they've been well below 20. So we are heading in the right direction. The entire town is 74% fully vaccinated. I looked at these numbers tonight, Kelly, because they just came out. The 12 to 15 age group is 72%. The 20 to 29 is 77%. And all of the other age groups are 86% or better. So we are trending in the right direction as far as getting people vaccinated. It's still not too late to go out, talk to your physician, see if they think the vaccine is right for you. The more people that we can get fully vaccinated, the better off the whole town's gonna be. With that, I don't have anything else to add.
Hey, Drew,
Yes,
how do we stand to our neighboring towns like Marshfield, Hull, Cohasset, Hingham?
Kelly's gonna have those numbers, I bet, off the top of her head.
Yeah, last report out, we, Cohasset was a little bit higher than us, and then we were next in line for vaccination rates.
And then the other ones were just a little bit below. Our little, circle of friends here are doing very, very well as far as, percentage of the towns that are being vaccinated. So we are in a good area here.
Good.
Drew, I have one question for you. In normal years without COVID, I'm sure we'd be talking about flu vaccines, and we're back into flu season. So yeah, so I'm hoping we're pushing flu vaccines. I think now that this year people are out and about more, that I think there's probably a higher risk of flu than there was last year when everyone was sequestered.
We actually have started scheduling our flu vaccine clinics now to be signed up. I know that Eileen was on the phone today with Kelly. I wasn't eavesdropping, so we were in the office together.
It's okay.
And we were talking about setting up the vaccines for the teachers and everything else. So we are pushing the flu vaccine, and you're right. We expect it to be a worse year this year because last year was so mild and not many people got any exposure at all. So it is one of the things we are pushing.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
The last item I have invoices. And you know what? They're not, oh, here they are, other business, administrative invoices. They're on the agenda. I just wanted to make sure they were on the agenda before we did it. So
Okay.
I have several invoices here that are related to vaccine. One is in the amount of $6,900. Another one is $12,000. And then a $55 one for supplies and a $33 one for supplies. But we are purchasing our flu vaccine right now.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the invoices for payment.
okay.
Second.
And we'll do a roll call. Karen,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes,
and Doug, yes. Okay. That's all there. Make a motion to adjourn the meeting of the Scituate Board of Health for Thursday, September 23rd, 2021.
second,
And motion Karen
Yes.
and Kelly,
yes.
and Doug says yes. Other than that, thank you guys. Be safe out there and have a great night.
Cindy,
Thank
thank you.
you.
very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Cindy.
Don't
Cindy.
hesitate.